Hi everyone, and thanks for joining me today for my first ever YouTube video. I'm pretty excited to be here, so let's jump in and I can get started on an illustration of a pretty sassy mermaid girl. I'm finishing up some line work with a PC 1068 Prismacolor pencil in 10% French grey. I did start out with a 2H pencil, but I quickly erased that after the Prismacolor because I didn't want the graphite to mix with the Davenport bright watercolor set that I've got here. Now I'm laying down a very light wash of water because when I go in with the Davenport Mermaid marker in the shade Byron Bay, I want to be able to have a little bit more control as the ink does tend to feather quite a bit. Another benefit of the Prismacolor pencil is because it is wax, I've found, in my experience at least, that it doesn't extend further than the guidelines I've already marked down. Next I'm going in with the shade Ink from the same watercolor set to establish some of the darker values, particularly around the jawline, as I felt a straight up black might be a bit too flat for this underpainting. I do need to come clean as well and apologise for my frumpy mum hair and the sleeve of my also frumpy hoodie that I'm wearing as well, but in my defence it was about 1 o'clock in the morning and it's a pretty cold winter's night over here in Australia at the moment. But let's be honest, even if it wasn't, I would probably still be rocking both of those things. Okay, moving on. I'm finishing up the ends of these cascading locks with some dry brushing, and now I'm grabbing my Strathmore teeny tiny visual journal that I use primarily just for swatches. It's so handy, so if you have something like that, I do encourage you to do something similar. I'm also using the Prima watercolor pencils in the neutral set, but I didn't feel like that was giving me the sort of colors that I was after. So I ended up mixing a few of the Staedtler watercolor pencils that I had laying around as well. Now that that first layer is dry, I'm grabbing my Prismacolor pencil set and the matching color chart, which is a total lifesaver, and I'm going to start laying down the colors on the hair. And you can see that I go back and forth between the colors that I've chosen constantly because Prismacolor pencils are all about gradually building layers and also keeping the tips of the pencils very sharp. I found that the paper in the Davenport canvas journal that I'm currently working in is really nice for holding coloured pencil because it's got a very fine tooth to it. You can see more of that tooth on the right hand side, the one that I'm not drawing on, but it's able to hold a lot of pigmentation, and that's making blending a lot easier for me too. Please go ahead and let me know in the comment section down below if you're enjoying this video and if you'd like me to make more. I certainly enjoyed making it and it's been quite a test for me because I think I've made quite a few rookie mistakes, but it's all a learning process, as is art, so it's all good. Now I'm starting off with some very light contouring of the face using some peach and beige tones. I hope I'm not speaking too quietly in this video either. My 6-month-old daughter is currently sleeping in the next room, and if you've ever had children, you know that noise is the devil in any household. Now I'm going in with some darker tones just to add a bit more to that shade and also warming up the face a bit. I felt at this point that her complexion was looking a little bit on the muddy side. So to combat that, I went in with my Derwent Colorless Blending pencil to smooth out her skin a little bit more. Now for the eyes, I really wanted to make them very piercing and to sort of pop against the colour of her hair. So as you can see, I go back and forth between a few different coloured pencils, again building up those layers. I really get so much enjoyment from drawing faces because I get to feel like a makeup artist in a way. I get to choose how bold I want something to be, and what colour her lips are going to be and that sort of thing. I don't know what's going on with that eye on the left side. I'm going to fix that up in a moment, I promise. But for now, she's got a very sultry, dramatic eyeliner look, which I love. And the warmer pencil is going to be sort of like a bronzy eyeshadow that's peeping just under the lower lash line as well. Adding a bit more definition to the face with that shade. She's throwing a lot of shade, this mermaid. And filling out some more of those highlights just above the cheekbone to sort of give it a bit more dimension. I was so excited to start drawing her lips because I was spending a lot of time wondering what colour to make them, and I've noticed for a very long time on Pinterest, whenever I go on there, I'm constantly getting bombarded with this beautiful warm neutral look that I think was made very famous by Kylie Jenner's obsession with the MAC lipstick in Velvet Teddy. So I kind of wanted to emulate that a little bit with these shades. Plus I felt a neutral lip colour wouldn't be competing so much with the eyes, which are quite bold and dramatic. I also went in with the shade Henna to sort of spice up and warm up her lips a bit, because at this point they were looking a little bit too matchy-matchy with her cheeks and the colour that I'd used on her eyes. It was now time to start working on the other side of the hair, and I'm kind of speeding through this footage a little bit more so, because it's kind of redundant to show the same process considering it's exactly the same to the other side. But I must apologize at this point for the footage being a little bit blurry. Bear with me a few more seconds because it will return back to normal after I figure out what I've done wrong. Finishing up with a quick spray of my Jane Davenport watercolour set, I'm using the shades Butterfly and 70s Eyeshadow to add a little bit of colour around the page. Next I'm going in with that same mermaid marker in Byron Bay to cover up that ugly little splodge that's been annoying me this whole video. And I'm going to draw some little bubbles, or at least I think that they're little bubbles, and the Jane Davenport paint over pen in Mermaid, aptly named, before going back in with a 0.1 Unipin pen to write a sassy little sentiment. And we are done. So thank you very much for tuning in to my very first YouTube video. As I mentioned before, please leave a comment down below if you'd like to see more videos just like this one. And don't forget to like this video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel so I'm not by myself anymore. Thanks, bye bye.